Good morning. A live look at some of the streetcars here in downtown Toronto. I want to let you know about some important information. A recent survey showed that more than half of Canadians are unaware of capital gains and how they are paid on properties upon death. Joining us this morning in demystifying the topic is Erin. She is the CEO and co-founder of Willful Estate Planning. Good morning to you.
Good morning,
I could talk about this a lot. There's been a lot of discussion about this. For those that don't know, what is a capital gain?
It's pretty simple. You buy an asset like a house or make an investment at a certain price. And when the value of that asset goes up over time and you sell it, that's a gain. And you have to pay tax on it, like most things in Canada.
Yeah, the only one that's exempt is your personal residence.
Yeah, so if you own a principal residence, the one you live in all the time, and you sell that or pass it on in your will, that you don't have to pay capital gains on that. But if you have, let's say, a cottage, a secondary property, an investment, you have business holdings, those would all be subject to capital gains.
You did a recent survey, and that survey really detailed what Canadians do and do not know.
Yeah, I mean, at Willful, we help people with estate planning every day, and it's no surprise that this survey shows most people don't know how they pay capital gains when they pass away, or just generally how they're taxed when they pass away. It's a pretty mystifying topic, and really the survey showed, especially for secondary properties, people think that they don't have to pay capital gains. They think that they don't have to pay them until they sell the property in the future. The good news is in Canada, we don't have inheritance tax. So if you receive a property or you get $500,000 from that rich aunt, which I don't have, I wish I did, you don't have to pay taxes yourself, but your estate has to pay taxes. So if you're someone who owns a cottage that you want to pass on to your adult children, that could trigger hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially in taxes that the estate would have to pay before it goes to those children.
So it's taking away family wealth.
Absolutely, and it could trigger forcing a sale. So for example, if your children have to pay $400,000 at a final tax bill, and they don't have $400,000, most of us don't today, sitting around in an account, they might be forced to sell that family cottage that's been in the family for generations just to cover that final tax bill.
So that's a good example of how you could get dinged. So the question now is, if they're watching people at home, they're probably saying, well, what can I do to minimize this or prevent? I don't think you can prevent this, but you can minimize it.
You can absolutely minimize it. In my own case, when I was dating my now husband, I owned a rental property in Prince Edward County, and so I actually added him to title so that we owned it jointly. So if I passed away, it would not trigger capital gains, it would pass directly to him. So joint ownership on investments, on properties, great way to avoid triggering capital gains when you pass away. Another way is to use trusts. You can use things like trusts to pass something down, avoids capital gains. Even TFSAs, those fun, savings accounts. None of us really know RRSP, TFSA. Well, a TFSA, your investments grow and they're not subject to capital gains. I've also actually seen families now taking out life insurance policies. So when they pass away, they pass the cottage to their children. That life insurance policy will swoop in, cover the taxes owing, and that can be a great way to make sure your heirs are not burdened with that bill.
Yeah, so this is a great investment strategy, long-term for succession planning. But also, one of the most important things is a will. And can you tell me how a will can help with something like this?
I mean, my husband and I started Willful to help people create wills, knowing that over half of Canadians don't have them. That number, I'm not under 35, but under 35, that's 90% of people don't have a will. Now, just having a will does not help you avoid capital gains, but you can do things in your will, like leaving a gift to charity. Such an amazing way to reduce your tax bill owing, because when you leave a gift to charity, like when you're alive, you get a tax break. And it's also a great way to leave a positive legacy. So get a will, understand how you're taxed, and hopefully reduce that bill and put more money into your heirs' pockets.
So if somebody right now, because we only had 5 minutes to get through this, is totally confused at home, going, I know I need to do something, where can they go for more information?
So on our website, Willful, we have an article all about capital gains and a calculator that can tell you how much your heirs would have to pay on an asset when you pass away.
All right, very much appreciate it. People need to be aware. They need to look into this. We hate talking about death, but it will, two things certain in life, death and taxes.
Both of them we're talking about today. There you go. Good morning. Death and taxes.
Good morning on a Friday, but they're important things to talk about and plan for. We got more things coming up here on Breakfast Television, coming up later in the show as well. We're going to go from death and taxes to eating poutine.
Perfect.
Okay?
Great transition.
So don't worry about it today. We're going to show you how you can eat your way to death and taxes. No, joking. We got lots more coming up after the break.